Beyond the Booth, Mountain West Insider Terrence Newman and John Ramey with you. We are recording this Monday night, September 1st. Hope you're enjoying your Labor Day holiday weekend, extended holiday weekend. Terrence, we have results in the Mountain West, including Nevada's season opening loss at Penn State, but we will not only discuss the Wolfpack and the Nittany Lions, we will talk about all the results, and we will also preview Nevada's upcoming home opener this Saturday against Sacramento State, a game which you will be covering as our sideline reporter on the radio broadcast. So lots to look forward to. And really a lot of results, some intriguing, some less than intriguing in the Mountain West in week one officially. But let's start. Penn State beat Nevada 46-11. Nevada covered the point spread, hit the over, and my sources with the sports medicine staff say it was injury-free. So, non-disaster, even though it was clearly a silver medal, Penn State is awfully good. Things I thought were good for Nevada, they only allowed 135 yards rushing. Things I thought were not as good, they allowed over 300 yards passing.
The defense, I thought, played really good when put in some pretty tough situations. A lot of times turnovers or bad special teams put them in a lot of short yard situations. Yeah, short fields. But they stepped up. So that was one positive. Honestly, like I said, if this was a pass-fail class, it's a pass, but barely. One positive is that, like you said, everybody came home healthy. That's really big. Honestly, I had a couple of questions going into the game. Like, look, this is one of those games. You took the game knowing you're going to get your butt whooped, but you will hope to figure out a few things about yourself. And I had some questions going into the game. And the problem is, coming out of the game, I still have those same questions. Still
running back, I know.
Yes.
Your number one. Yeah.
Who's going to be that lead dog? Who's going to step up in the running back room? Also, wide receiver room. We know what we have in Bellin, but we can't just have Bellin. It's got to be somebody else has to step up. Didn't really see that. And then also, we know Chuba is a really good athlete. We need to be able to see how he can stretch the field and move the ball with his arm. Didn't quite see that. So, yeah, I leave the game with those questions still unanswered. So until we get the answers to those, it's still kind of up in the air how to feel about that game.
But I do think it's impressive. Penn State has two 2,000-yard rushers, two All-American running backs, and they were the best rushing team in the Big Ten last year. I mean, Nevada did okay, slowing that down.
Very good chance of Penn State's going to be the number one team in the nation this week. Yeah, no. The level of NFL talent they were facing, they faced more NFL players in that game alone than they will probably face for the rest of the season combined.
It's a fair point.
So, yeah, you got to put all that in perspective.
Okay. Boise State loses at South Florida 34-7. You used the verb dog walking in describing this one to me, which I thought was I enjoyed it, and I have been using it myself in describing that one-sided score. The most notorious play from this game, I guess, was the fake punt executed by South Florida, and Boise State didn't notice the backup quarterback had snuck on the field, lined up as the punter.
Yeah. Now, this was it was a close game in the first half. It was a close game in the first half, but in the second half, it just you can kind of see the look in the Boise State players' face. They weren't used to another group of five school taking it to them like that. And here's the thing. South Florida is a legit program. They are a legit contender to get the playoff spot for the group of six this year. They're a legit contender to win the American. They have some real dudes on that team. So yeah, there was a little bit of shell shock on the Boise State side. They played sloppy. They had 3 turnovers, some very untimely penalties that you're not used to seeing from a Boise State team. One pot, like, here's the thing. If you look at the stats, you wouldn't have known they were lost the game. They had more yards, they had more first downs, they led in time of possession, but they had the 3 turnovers and just really, really untimely penalties that would just kill drives. One positive, Sire Gaines, uh, redshirt freshman running back. He's the future. He's the next Ashton Jeanty. Yeah, I don't want to say Ashton Jeanty. I'm not saying he's gonna be Ashton Jeanty, but he's gonna be the next bell cow of that offense. They kind of had the reins on him this game. They didn't fully let him loose. I believe Malik Sherrod, the transfer from Fresno State, actually had more carries than him. That's going to change. That's not going to last for long. I believe that by the time we get into conference play, Sire Gaines is going to be getting the majority of the carries, and by this time the season's over, I believe he's going to be getting all of the carries. But the question is, can Maddox Madsen carry this team without Ashton Jeanty? We had this conversation last year. I thought he was kind of just a game manager, but that was perfect. That's all they needed him to be. Part of the reason why you had so many turnovers and why you had so many untimely penalties is because they're asking Maddox Madsen to do more than be just a game manager. And I just don't know if he has that in him. So that's why I think they really need to get Sire Gaines going as that bell cow running back that they can lean on to try to take the pressure off of Maddox Madsen. They have some really great tight ends. They have some talent at wide receiver, but Maddox Madsen he just misses some throws. And like I said, he's a good game manager. He cannot lose you the game, but I don't know if you can ask him to consistently win you the game.
Okay, so Boise State loses. They are 0-1. And they host Eastern Washington on Friday. Wyoming pitches a shutout at Akron. Wyoming 10-0 victors over the Zips.
Solid performance by Wyoming. Weren't sure what to expect from them coming off of last season. Now Akron is probably middle of the pack to lower middle half of the pack when it comes to the MAC schools. But still, it's a solid performance on the road. The defense looked
shutout
really
on
good.
The road, Terrence.
Shutout on the road is still a shutout on the road. Defense looked really solid. They had 1 pick. They had 3 sacks. A couple of really standout performances. Sam Scott, senior running back, had 29 carries for 132 yards. And then Chris Durr Jr., sophomore wide receiver, 8 catches for 190 yards. So looks like they got some weapons on offense this year with a solid defense. Okay. They looked a little improved.
Wyoming hosts Northern Iowa on Saturday.
Yeah, that's kind of the theme watching a lot of these games is that there's a lot of improved Mountain West teams this year. A lot of the teams that were on the bottom last year look like they're going to be a lot harder outs this year.
UNLV wins at Sam Houston. The Rebels are now 2-0. That one was 38-21. So UNLV's posted 38 points in back-to-back games.
Yeah, this is a much better performance from UNLV. The defense looked much more improved from week 2 to week 1. You can definitely tell that they're getting a little bit more familiar with the scheme and the new players are getting settled in. They had 4 sacks on defense. They had 1 pick, 1 forced fumble. Anthony Calandria has really taken over the reins of that offense too. I mean, the whole show runs through him. He had a really solid game. 19 of 23, 249 yards, 2 TDs, 1 pick, and he also had 6 carries for 23 yards with 1 TD on the ground. And so the running game was solid. Anthony Calandria as the dual threat is pretty impressive. And if this defense continues to improve like they did from week 1 to week 2, we could be back talking about UNLV being one of the top teams in the Mountain West again this year.
All right.
Sorry, Pack fans.
I know. We have to report the facts. UNLV hosts the UCLA Bruins at 5:00 in Las Vegas on Saturday.
The
0-1 UCLA Bruins.
UCLA Bruins might be on upset alert. That might be a fun one to watch.
Okay. New Mexico loses at Michigan 34-17. This game was not particularly one-sided for long stretches. Michigan eventually pulls away, but I think the Lobos, well, they didn't douse themselves in glory, but they acquitted themselves all right.
I'm a New Mexico fan. I come away from that game quietly surprised, and they have a new coach, Coach
Coach Eck,
Ack.
yeah, from
Yes,
Idaho.
from Idaho. Wolfpack fans should be familiar because they played the Wolfpack. What was
Yeah,
it, a year, 2 years ago, a year
yeah,
ago, and beat them?
two.
Well, Coach Eck has come to New Mexico. He has brought a lot of those players from Idaho with him. It's funny. It's a trend I'm noticing. I guess it might have started with Dion. When you're hiring a new coach, you're kind of hiring their players too. Like guys are coming with their own luggage bags these days. And I like
Could
his
say it was
luggage.
Jay Norvell at Colorado State.
And Jay might have, yeah, he might have helped start
Just
that
saying.
too. Now I'm not saying he brought Louis to New Mexico, but he bought some quality bags. Jack Lane is a
Louis.
real tough quarterback. Uh, he was with him at Idaho. Comes out of Oregon. Comes out of the Oregon area. That's where he grew up. Um, just he makes plays. You know, he had 3 picks in the game. That he got beat up pretty rough. You know, he got hit, but he stood in there. He took it. I'm excited to see how this guy's going to play come conference play. Also, Dorian Thomas, wide receiver, making a strong case for all conference right off the bat. 10 catches, 71 yards, 2 TDs. They had a solid defense that was just, not intimidated by the big house, not intimidated by a Power Four school. I'm excited to see what New Mexico is going to do. They are going to surprise some folks this year.
The Lobos host Idaho State on Saturday at noon Pacific. Utah State defeats future Mountain West member UTEP. I'm struggling to find the score. I have it right here. Oh,
28
yeah,
to 16.
28-16. Here it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
28-16, the Aggies.
Yeah, in Bronco Mendenhall's debut as the Utah State coach. Now he was at New Mexico last year.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's one of the rare win-wins. I think it's a great hire for Utah State. And also, I think New Mexico State ended up doing just fine with Coach Eck. I really liked what I saw at Utah State. They looked much improved from last year. Solid defense, really good athletes. Defense, Noah Avinger, I believe it is. DB corner, I believe, was at New Mexico last season with Bronco. He was flying around. Linebacker John Miller was flying around. I really like their backfield. Quarterback Bryson Barnes, just a gamer, just a tough guy. I believe he started his college career at Utah and then transferred to Utah State. 19 to 28, 233 yards, 1 TD, at 15 carries for 29 yards, 1 TD. And his backfield mate, running back Miles Davis, just first off,
Great name.
great name. Gotta give a shout out to the name. And the guy can kind of do it all. 12 carries, 88 yards, 1 TD, 6 receptions for 61 yards. So Utah State, kind of like New Mexico, I think going to be much improved off of last year. Expect to win a lot more in conference than they did last year. And yeah, I'm high on their backfield.
Okay, well, the Aggies are at the other Aggies on Saturday. Utah State is at Texas A&M at Kyle Field with 100 and however many thousand of their
Like
closest
110
friends.
now, something
I
like
think it's like
that.
105. I think it's still below Penn State.
Oh, they're
I
slacking.
checked. I checked the Bodley and Wikipedia before the Penn State game for Nevada.
Okay.
Largest capacity in North America, Stadia, the Big House in Ann Arbor, then Penn State, then Kyle Field.
Now you want to know something crazy? The largest, I think I saw something like out of the 10 largest stadiums in the world, like 6 of them are in the SEC.
Yeah, that's about right.
In the entire world,
Yeah, that's fine.
6 of them because it just means more.
It
We
just
cut all that out.
okay. Colorado State, the Rams lose at the Huskies. 38-21 the final. Colorado State 0-1 after losing at Washington of the Big Ten, which is something I will never get used to saying. But you like the Rams, Terrence.
I do. I do. They did lose to Washington 38-21, but the game was actually closer than what the score says. It was
Mhm.
actually tied up at half. They were only down a touchdown going into the fourth. Washington just pulled away in the fourth quarter, scoring 10 points. And, just bigger horses, power four horses, Colorado State kind of wore down. But for three quarters, they hung with them. They were hanging with them tight. Jay's got a really good squad this year. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of talent on defense. They had three sacks as a team on defense. Owen Long, linebacker, was flying around, had 11 tackles. Robert Edmondson, another linebacker, had 8 tackles, 1 sack. DBs, Lamondre Joe had 3 tackles, 1.5 sack. So yeah, they had a lot of talent. Like, you look at their athletes and you look at the Washington athletes, and you couldn't say, oh, well, that's the power forward team and that's the G6 team. They looked equal when it comes to athletes. Offense, kind of what it's been the same last few years. You need a little more consistency from the quarterback play. Fowler Nicolosi, if he can, complete a few more passes, cut down on his turnovers. I believe he had 2 interceptions. This team could really go far. There was some bright spots though on offense. Jalen Dupree, freshman running back, 15 carries, 92 yards. Looks like he's going to be their bell cow going forward. I expect as the season goes forward long, he's going to start to get more and more carries. Also, Jackson Warren, tight end, 6 receptions, 79 yards. If there's one question mark for me, wide receiver. They seem to be lacking
Now, that is actually interesting because traditionally Norvell teams are always stacked at receiver.
as normally they are,
Yeah.
but Torrey Holt's gone, and yeah, it just nobody stepped up. I'm sure there's somebody on that roster, but nobody
Right.
in this game seemed to step up.
Torrey Horton's not walking through that door.
So Torrey Horton's not walking through that door. I think I said Torrey Holt. The
That's
old,
all right.
the old Rams. What is yeah,
We've all done it, T-Bone.
yeah. No,
Okay.
there's look. If Torrey Horton's there,
Yeah.
he didn't show up at this game. So
0-1 Colorado State hosts Northern Colorado out of Greeley on Saturday at 4 o'clock Pacific. Okay. Hawaii loses after beating Stanford in week 0. 1-0 Hawaii goes and loses, 40-6 at Arizona.
yes,
So they're 1-1 and, on the road at a Big 12 opponent. That's not a shocking result, but
it's not a
maybe
shocking result. And
kind of a
also,
splash of cold water to the face after the win.
well, I'm not too worried about it because Mike Alejado wasn't right. He wasn't healthy.
Oh.
He remember I told you in the
Mhm.
Stanford game, he had a ankle injury in the second half that he was playing with, and it was clearly still bothering him.
You compared him to Byron Leftwich.
I compared him to Byron Leftwich,
Yeah.
so it's kind of hard to judge their offensive
Okay.
output of 6 points because yeah, he was clearly not right. Actually, I don't even think he finished the game. I think they took him out early after about 3 quarters. So it's kind of hard to judge that offensive performance
Sure.
because yeah, he just was not 100%. Probably maybe shouldn't even have been out there. I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't, at time of recording, I haven't seen any news. I wouldn't even be surprised if they sit him this week just to make sure they get him healthy going into conference play.
The late game, Hawaii hosting Sam Houston at 9 o'clock Pacific on Saturday, September 6th. Terrence, you and I can lock in on that game
Oh yeah.
after the Wolfpack 2 o'clock kickoff at home against Sacramento State. We'll get to that preview in a bit. We've got a couple more results from the Mountain West this past week. San Jose State misses a field goal late and loses at home to the Central Michigan Chippewas by a final of 16-14.
Yeah, I was probably not more disappointed by a team this week from the Mountain West than I was in San Jose State.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you're supposed to be a top
Upper
of the mountain,
half.
upper
Yeah.
half of the Mountain West school. You're not supposed to lose to a middle of the pack MAC school, especially at home. Um, yeah, there's some things that as a San Jose State fan would trouble me. I'd be a little worried about long term. They could not stop the run. Their defense just got ran all over. They gave up 247 yards on the ground.
It's
Uh,
hard to win football games when you give it
it's
that
hard.
much
It's
on the
hard to
ground.
win football games
Yeah.
when you're giving up that much on the ground, and especially in the Mountain West this year because a lot of people think Mountain West, the West Coast Group of Five football. Traditionally, you think it is like just throwing the ball all over the
Bombs away.
field, just
Yeah.
bombs away. This is really a running conference this year. There's
Yeah.
a lot of really hard nosed running teams that like to grind you into the dust. So giving up 247 yards on the ground, that's going to be a problem going into conference play. That's something they're going to have to fix. Um, Walker Egan,
To
the
Central
quarter,
Michigan too.
Central
I mean,
Michigan
yeah,
too.
that,
Not
yeah,
not not like
not ideal.
not ideal. Not like one
Like
of the service academies.
San Jose State gave up more on the ground to Central Michigan than Nevada did at Penn State.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a small sample size, but yeah, that's a
Yeah.
concern.
And to compound that, the only thing worse than not being able to stop the run is also
It's not being
not
able to
being
run.
able to run the ball.
Yeah.
They couldn't run the ball. They only had 75 yards rushing as a team.
Right.
So uh they're gonna have to figure that out going into conference play also. They're gonna have to be able to stop the run and they're gonna have to be able to run the ball. Now, their quarterback, Walker Egan, put up some big numbers, 24 of 43, 308 yards, two
Yeah, he can play.
TDs.
Yeah.
He can sling it. Only problem, two interceptions.
Hmm.
And those two interceptions were costly. So if he can cut down on those turnovers, you might have had a different score here. Uh, One bright spot though, wide receiver Danny Scudero really stepped up. Might be their next big wide receiver there. 9 catches, 189 yards, one TD.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Shades of Swervin Mervin Fernandez, one of the great Spartan. Sorry to
Yes.
take it back 60 years.
Taking
San
it
Jose
way
State.
back.
Yeah. San Jose State is at Texas on Saturday. That's a 9 o'clock Pacific start. Okay. Air Force played Bucknell. Did you know that Bucknell won the first Orange Bowl in 1935? They beat Miami. I looked that up.
I did not know
I know
that.
Bucknell, an FCS school,
That's a
they
deep
lost.
cut.
I know they lost at the Academy 49-13, but nothing can take away from Bucknell, the Bison. Were the first Orange Bowl champions in 1935. They beat Miami. Anyway, Air Force played an FCS team and slaughtered them at home.
Yeah, not a whole lot to take from it other than that.
Yeah.
They played an FCS school and slaughtered them at home. Uh, they were able to run the ball well. It's Air Force. They always do. They're also able to move the ball in the air. They don't throw the ball a lot, but when they did, they completed passes. So it looks to be an improved team. Defense looked pretty stout. I mean, it's Air Force. Disciplined guys. They bring their lunch, their hard hats, and their lunchbox every day. So, yeah, good outing by Air Force.
San Diego State against Stony Brook.
Yeah.
I once broadcast Stony Brook in the College World Series
Okay.
in 2012, but I don't recall them being much of a football power traditionally, and they were shut out in San Diego, 42-0.
Yeah, they weren't much of a football power on Saturday either. Not a whole lot to take away from this game either. Played an FCS school. They beat them like they should have. Defense looked good. Honestly, you looking at the stats, offense did enough, but you really can't judge much about this team off of this performance.
Okay, Aztecs 1-0 go to Washington State. Kickoff in the Palouse at 7:15.
We'll learn a lot more about San Diego State this week.
Yeah. Nevada opening the home schedule, as they would say in the British Isles, on Saturday, September 6th, 2 o'clock kickoff against formerly of the Big Sky, Sacramento State, an ambitious FCS program. Nevada 0-1 after the lost at Penn State. Sacramento State, the Hornets lost at South Dakota State. No shame in that. 20-3. Both those Dakota programs, all of them, play football pretty well.
They do, but this was actually if you were going to beat South Dakota State, this would have been the year to do it.
Sure. Yeah.
They lost their head coach. Their head coach is the new coach at Washington State. Mm-hmm. And like we said with Coach Eck, a lot of those guys from the South Dakota school team the last few years, they're actually now playing at Washington State. So this was kind of a transformation year for that program. But they did look good. I watched a little bit of that game.
All right, so Sac State 0-1, lost 20-3, coming to Mackey Stadium. Must-haves for the Wolfpack. Well, they're going to have to show that they can throw the ball, right? They're going to have to show they can compile more than 200 yards total offense. Now, it's understandable when it's Penn State. It will not be acceptable against Sacramento State.
Yeah, they're going to have to against Sac State. Sac State plays kind of an old school 4-3 defense. Where they got a big old nose guard and they put 2 defensive ends next to them, but then they also play their 2 outside linebackers. They're standing up, but they play them on the line. Mm-hmm. So they're putting up a five-man defensive line front on almost every snap. So they're kind of selling out to stop the run, and they're kind of baiting you and goading you into throwing the ball. They play with two deep safeties. So that's going to leave a lot of stuff underneath. That's going to.
I like it for Marcus Bellin.
Yeah, this is going to be a great game. Marcus Bellin's going to eat in this game. It's going to be a lot of stuff underneath. There's going to be a lot of those quick hitches. A lot of those slants are going to be there. But the thing is, they're going to have to try to establish the run, even though they're going to really sell out on the run. Just so you can try to set up some of the play action pass and kind of open up some of those deeper throws later on in the game. Here's the thing, though, about that defense is when you stack so many guys up against the line, it's one of those things where when you do get past that initial front line, there's not a lot behind it, and there's a big gap before you get to those safeties. So it's a defense that's set up to stop the run, but at the same time can give up big run plays when you're able to penetrate those gaps in the defensive line. But this is going to be a game where, Chubba's going to have to show that he can hit those deep outs and he can hit those crossing patterns because they should be there in this game.
All right. Sacramento State at 0-1 at Nevada. 0-1 coming up at 2 o'clock on Saturday. This coming Saturday, September 6th, Terrence Newman, Mike Edwards, and I will start with the Bud Light Tailgate Show at 1 o'clock. Tune in on the radio in Northern Nevada, 105.7 FM, or you can listen online on the Varsity Network app. It's free anywhere. Also, we will have the Behind the Mic cam going, so you can voyeuristically watch us in the broadcast booth as we describe the game. And if you catch it on television, our great friend and colleague Alex Margulies will be on the television call on Nevada Sports Net. So however you take in the ball game, take it in. And hopefully we'll see you at Mackey Stadium because it's going to be a beautiful day. And, early afternoon kickoff, Terrence, as God intended for college football.
Yeah. Come watch a good game. We'll be done before the sun goes down. You can hit the blackjack tables and get a good dinner in afterwards.
Can't wait.
Excited.
All right.
Can't wait.
He's Mountain West Insider Terrence Newman. I'm John Ramey. We will talk to you on Wednesday night for the Wolfpack Coaches Show from Brew Brothers with Jeff Choate. Peace.